So we're going to do Hey Joe by Jimi Hendrix, just some chordal kind of comping. The chords are C chord and G chord, D chord, A chord, and then E chord. Now the way Jimmy would do it, so you would just make a normal chord, alright? Then we have a G chord which kind of looks like this. He would use his thumb on the 3rd fret on the big thick E string. 3rd finger will go on the 4th string, 5th fret. 2nd finger will go on the 4th fret on the 3rd string, and then bar across. Okay. Now you're not playing the A string. It's kind of I'm muting it actually with this finger here. D chord would look like this. Sometimes he would play 3rd finger bars across, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string on the 7th fret, and then this is going to cover. The thumb is going to cover the 5th and the 6th string on the 5th fret. So we have the 5th on the bottom, and the root note is D here on the 5th fret. And then it goes to an E chord. So if we did just a kind of really basic, we go, what I'm doing is I'm going to go root note, play the chord, and then root note, play the chord, root note, play the chord, A, root note, play the chord, and then E. This quick job, so you just want to kill the string quick. I also did a double bass note, so I went twice. Another thing you'll do is we'll put on the E. We'll go say C, D, A, E. So what I'm doing is I'm going to play with the 3rd fret on the big thick E string, which is the minor 3rd. The other thing you want to do is you want to throw in the 6th there, so it's a G6 chord. And I'm just playing that, and I'm pulling it off. So I'm going to go down to the G6. So my pinky is going to go on the 5th fret on the B string. So and D, A. On the A. The other thing is you could throw in a hammer on the C. So I'm gonna, it's kind of a country sound. I'm gonna play my typical C chord, and I'm just gonna lift my 2nd finger off. I'm gonna have that open D there, and then hammer it on. So I can go again. To the G, and the D, and A. Now instead of playing this E chord, I can also play an E7 sharp 9 chord. Sometimes you'll do that. E7 sharp 9, it's what we call it the Hendrix chord. 2nd finger goes on the 7th fret on the A string, 1st finger goes on the 6th fret on the D string, 3rd finger goes on the G string, 7th fret, and pinky will go on the 8th fret. You can play all 6 strings for that. You don't have to, but you can. So if I do it. something else on the E chord while we're on the E is we can play an E7 chord. And this just looks like your normal D7 chord, and just moved up a whole step and becomes an E7 chord, and small form. And so your second finger, to make that second finger, is going to go on the 4th fret on the G string. First finger is going to go on the 3rd fret on the B string, and then third finger is going to go on the 4th fret on the high E string. But he also will play this, so you can move it down. He'll go, which is typical blues turnaround we've heard. And that'll just lead to an E chord. Sometimes he'll take his third finger off and play the high E string open. So if I do it, make the E chord. Sometimes I'll make my D chord like this too, so I don't always have to play it like this. But if you want to be official, then A. You can see I can go all the way back and forth, and it just gives me all these different options. The next part is, so I'm going to go instead of playing the C chord, I'm going to do this. So this is outlining kind of a C chord, and the way I do that, here's my C. And you want to move this first finger to the 5th fret, and I'm going to play just what I'm doing is I'm barring across like 4 strings, but I'm not going to play all 4 strings. I'm going to play small sets of these. So I'm going to hammer on with my 3rd finger on the 7th fret, and then I'm going to play the 3rd and 2nd string while I'm barring across the 5th fret, and I'm going to do a pull off. 7th fret on the D string, pull off, and then I can just go back to the 7th fret, or I can just go like that as well. Hammer on. This is a small A chord. Sometimes I'm playing 3 strings, sometimes I'm only playing 2. It's not a science here, so I'm going to go hammer on the A string, hammer on, pull off. Now I can go back to the 7th fret, or I don't have to. When I used to practice these things, I would just, do, because there'd be so many things he was doing all the time, I would just practice them doing that move on the C and D chord. So I'll go, and so it'll sound like this. I went to a G chord here, and then I went and did C, and then I went to G, then I did the D1 here, and then I went to a G6. So I'm just mixing up all these things, and what you want to do is take each one individually and just make sure you got them down. So that's one C, say if we just do a C, so I did that. Now I'm going to do the exact same move, but on the G and A. So G and A chords. So I'm going to play just normal C, and then I'm going to play the G. I'm not going to play it like this. We're going to play it. So I'm going to bar my first finger across the top 3 strings. And I'm going to play hammer on the G, which will be on the 5th, and I'm going to hammer on 7, and then I'm going to play A and D string, hammer on and pull off. So we have C, and we're going to play the D chord, and we're going to go to the A. So now this will be at the 7th fret, so I'm going to hammer on 7 to 9. Now this is if we looked at these intervallically, this would be the second degree, or the ninth they would call it, to the third. This would be going to the fifth and the major sixth. All nice chord tones. And then we're going to go to the A. So the A, when we go to A, we're going to go to the seventh, hammer on, and then play the exact same move. We're going to play the A and D string. We're going to hammer on and pull off. So I have C, down a bit. So I play the C chord and the G chord. Now I can also apply that to the E, because we have a lot of time for the E, so let's see if I can. So here I'm going, let me try it again. So I'm just making this up right now, but he does play some of these things. You're going to take your first finger and you're going to hammer on. You're going to play, this is an E chord, looking like an E like this, but I'm just playing a partial of it. And I'm going to play, hammer on, so my first finger is going to bar across B, G, and D, and then my third finger is going to hammer on the 11th fret. Hammer on, pull off, and then move it up, and then I'm going to go hammer on 11 and then pull off on 9. So I can do that. There we go. Nice phrase. See where you can just go on and on and on and sort of thing. So you make sure you get that backbeat. That's the other thing, is you just don't play it like this. Oops. No charge for mistakes. I mean, you want to have that boom in the background every time you're playing this. Even when I'm going